Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Let's dive right in. So today I had an idea for a video where I flipped through this old book that I have of a bunch of different fishes, and then whatever page I land on, I decided to draw one of those fish with the materials that I chose for today's video. I decided to go with markers. So yeah, the first fish that I chose from the page that I flipped to is called a saith. So it's kind of the most, I don't know, I'd say boring of the fishes that I chose that I got to pick for this video. It's a sort of gray, pretty streamlined, doesn't have a lot of interesting features, but I got to do a lot of fun blending with this one because it was just all gray. So I had a lot of space to do the blending, which was actually pretty fun. I use a lot of my gray colors, which I don't usually get a lot of use with. And so I'm actually really happy with how this one turned out. I really like the saith here. So yeah, real quick, I'm gonna go through the materials that I used. I used my Ohuhu markers, and then I used a little bit of my Micron fineliners. I only used them to like sign a picture and put the fish name, and that was just because I didn't want to have a harsh line on the actual fish. So I decided to line them all in a dark brown pencil. So it's a Prismacolor Scholar colored pencil that I used instead. And I like how that turned out. It gives it a softer edge. So that was really nice. And then, so then I got the next one that I flipped through is the next fish I chose was a much more colorful page. So this one's called the Ramirez's Dwarf Cichlid. And it took me a while to figure out how to pronounce the name cichlid. It doesn't really look how it ought to sound. But yeah, this one is the most colorful out of all of them here that I did today. It's very yellow and bright, but I don't have a lot of pale yellows in my marker collection right now, which is unfortunate. So they were all really bright, but I needed some that were a little bit more muted. So what I did was I poured out some of my rubbing alcohol and mixed it on just a lid to transfer, and then put some of the marker ink there, and then I was able to like water down the color sort of, except for not with water, and I liked the effect that made. And then I used a brush to apply the color. It was a lot more difficult than using a full strength marker, and the rubbing alcohol dried a lot faster than I would have liked, so it was really hard to get a smooth area, so it's kind of splotchy. I don't really mind it that much, but it was a challenge there that I had to work with. So yeah, that was the cichlid. And then last of all, I drew a common sturgeon from the last page of the book that I flipped through. So this one, again, it was pretty much just gray, but that was pretty easy. I like the shape of the sturgeon. It's very spiky and pointy and has interesting elements. So again, I needed a really pale color, so I decided to try the rubbing alcohol thing again, and it was pretty splotchy. It actually makes it, I think, look a little bit more like it's a scaly fish, because otherwise that would be kind of hard to achieve with the really smooth blending that I usually get from my markers. So that didn't turn out too bad. It was a little difficult. But also, so this sturgeon probably actually is my favorite of the 3 drawings. I just really like, I don't know, it's got a cute pointy little nose. It's got this little eye out front. It's kind of cute. So that one was fun to draw. And again, I outlined it in the brown pencil. Yeah, so this was a really fun idea that I had. I wanted to draw some fish, and I knew I could look up pictures on the internet that I might want to just search for different random fish. But I have this book, and I've had it for a couple years, and I really love it. It's really old. It was published in 1965, and I love the charm that it has. It's kind of got yellowy pages. It's got a cool cover, and it's got really pretty artwork in it. All the fish illustrations are really fun. So I love just looking through it, seeing fish that I've recognized and I've seen before, and then finding them in the book. And it's really old, so a lot of the information is outdated. So it's kind of fun to also spot the differences, well, that fish doesn't actually look like that, or it doesn't live in that area, or some piece of information that it has written down about these is wrong. So that's really entertaining, I'd say. So yeah, this was a really fun project for me. I might add to it in the future, kind of get a collection of these sort of random fish. But the thing about drawing these fish is, if I ever do see them, having drawn them before, it's kind of makes it a little easier for me. If I want to identify them, I've seen and I've drawn each of these individual attributes that I can use to identify them later on. So that's kind of a cool thing about drawing animals and things in nature, is that you have to pay close attention to the details. So that sort of helps you understand different parts of them a lot better. So yeah, and then before I forget, I didn't use the paintings or the drawings in the book as my references. Those were just sort of to get me started and to figure out what fish I wanted to look up and draw. I used references from the internet. I probably used 5 or 6 photos for each one. So I didn't want to be limited to one photo. I didn't want to just copy it, even if, because I'm translating it into an art medium, it will be different, but I also wanted to sort of make it my own in some way. So usually I've used a couple, like a color reference, maybe a pose reference, or a shape reference, and then use different things that I wanted to make sure were included. So yeah, that's kind of all I had to say about these pieces. I'll say I really enjoyed doing it. Markers are always really fun to work with, and I had fun experimenting more with them, trying to do something new, even though I really love them as they are. It was fun to experiment. So yeah, thank you. So till next time, live life respectfully. Okay, Bye.